Well, what it's like to have my dad around, it's like I'm kind of happy because all his artwork makes me feel better about my life.
If he's legally blind, some people cannot do that when they're legally blind. But Melvin especially is special that he can draw just like that. So I want to get good in basketball and stuff because if he's drawing like that, anything's possible. Also, he is very good at figuring out to draw and he's wonderful at it. I think he should keep on doing it and get famous over it.
My name is Melvin James, and I was born 1979, Miami, Florida. But actually, my story, it starts even a little further than that. My grandma, who was not even originally from the United States of America, who's African, was born in Haiti in 1947. She was raised in Haiti, eventually she moved to the Bahamas. Nassau, Bahamas, where she had my mother, Viola, my uncle Elvis, my aunt Carol, my auntie Gwen, my uncle Cleveland Henfield, and my uncle Kenneth. And we lived, and once she had all her kids, she took them kids, a single mom, a strong woman, and she moved to Miami. And that's where my grandma, she owned, in Carroll City, she owned two houses and a business. She was able to accomplish that. So that's why I say my story even began even before that. That's where it kind of started from that point.
It inspired me to just watch him draw and stuff because that's his favorite thing to do. And I like watching him do it because it inspires me too. It inspires me too.
I remember spending a few years of my childhood, my baby years in Miami. I remember how much I looked up to my uncles, my Uncle Clevie and my Uncle Kunta. And they wasn't just uncles, they was like brothers of mine. They taught me everything that I knew as far as being a man, gave me the courage. And I looked up to them guys so much, I followed them everywhere they went, everywhere. I remember one particular day in Carroll City, my uncles, they was headed to the park. I want to say, yeah, the park. And I followed them, and me being a hardhead, being a hardhead 3-year-old, of course, they told me to stay. They didn't see me coming, and I followed behind. And as I was crossing the street, a car came and hit me. And I remember the stories because I don't really remember how everything played out, but I remember the stories that Grandma told me about how the doctor said I died, and how she feel like that was the moment that I was born, actually, the moment I came back from the dead, because the doctors said I died for about 5 minutes. So as time went on, Grandma she took her family and her kids, her grandkids, and we navigated to Indianapolis, Indiana.
I feel happy because my dad, he's illegally blind and he can still make art.
See, I can remember I think it was I say it could have been about around 87. It's been a minute. But anyway, we was living on off 30th and Park, Indianapolis, Indiana, and that particular day, see, the thing is like I was saying, Grandma we lived in the house of me, it was my grandma, her boyfriend, and Grandma's 6 kids. And it was me, as far as the grandkids goes, me, my cousin Shanika, my little brother Angelo, and my sister Frederica, who was a baby at that time, who was pretty much just born. And that particular day, I don't remember where all the kids was at, but everybody was gone except for like one adult. It was Eddie, my grandma's boyfriend. But everybody was gone somewhere. So me being a kid and the fact that I love my uncle artwork so much that I just needed to be hard hit and get up there to see it, you know? So me being a kid, I went up there into the attic. Now you gotta think this is a more of an older attic, like, so that means back then it had an older lock on it. And I think it could have been like a lock, maybe, you know, you need a skeleton key or something. But anyway, I went up there in the attic and I checked out his drawings. And suddenly I hear the door shut. Boom. But it wasn't nothing ghostly, it was just a fan, you know, kind of push it. It was one of them lighter type of doors. And so I went nuts. I mean, I went nuts, went crazy. And all the walls up in the attic is filled up with all artwork, beautiful artwork. So I ran back down the stairs, trying to get the door open. I'm screaming. So ain't nothing I could do. So I looked up, and I remember seeing one particular drawing. It was a comic strip my uncle had that made me laugh a little bit. And I'm talking about I was going nuts at that point, and screaming and crying, and nobody could hear me. And so I remember there was a comic strip. It was a male fish, and there was a male man, not a postal mailman. I'm talking about a male, gender-wise. It was a male man and a male fish, and I thought it was a dope comic because it was funny because my uncle had the man running out the lake holding a female fish, a giant female fish, but had the fish running into the lake holding a female woman, and they looking at each other with question marks on their head, like, and I thought that was cool. For some reason, I just would never forget that comic. I just thought that was one of the coolest, and I think that's what launched it, what got me started. So at that moment, I forgot I was even in the attic. I'm chill now. I'm looking at all the drawings and I'm enjoying it. And so the point, the whole thing is that like art for me is a safe haven. It's a safe place. It was always, even as a kid, it proved to have always been a safe place for me to go. When I'm not doing my art, I just feel like it's almost like it's being like what's the word I'm trying to find? Well, I can't find a word, but I'm gonna say it's like emptiness, like for me personally.
That's very exciting because if he's legally blind, some people cannot do that when they're legally blind. But Melvin especially is special that he can draw just like that.
Let me see, he started like 5 years old. He started drawing. My mama noticed it first. She said, "Oh, we got a star in their family. We're going to be rich." I said, "Okay, Mama." So I didn't really used to pay too much attention. But then when he turned 8 and he started drawing pictures of us, I know he was an artist. Mm-hmm. You know, and I was proud of him, and I just told him, keep doing it because it's a goal, you know, and something like that. And a lot of people don't, and you're left-handed too. That's what really made me tell him to keep doing it, keep going at it. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of him, and I hope he successfully goes somewhere with it. Yeah. Because he was doing it from young, and everything about drawing was all he was about. It was drawing. So I started buying him art things and sending him to art school, and basically, nothing art school could show him. Basically, art school couldn't show him nothing because he already had the talent.
As I was growing up and developing my skills, this is sometime like in the mid 80s, the late to mid 80s when we was living on Park growing up. And I can remember us living in the double house on 31st and Park, and like all the friends that I had, like, you know, I remember one friend in particular named Richie. We called him Big Ear Richie, and I remember he's always like kind of laugh at me like, "Man, that's all you ever do is draw and you know, X, Y, Z," and I was like, and I remember people was telling me at a young age, and I really never understood that you're gonna be something special, man. I'm telling you, man, you got a vision. And Grandma always told me that vision started the day I got hit by a car.
And when my brother said we can just draw stick men and he can draw and he can draw like faces. He can draw the good bodies. We don't really like to draw bodies that much. We just go stickman, so because it's kind of easier. But my dad, he does the hard way, and he makes the real bodies look better.
Our life was always unstable growing up. I remember asking friends and relatives if I can get a couple of dollars to buy paint. And I can remember the struggle. But at the same time, God put people in my life that was gonna allow me and help me to get through them struggles. And so we moved on Sherman Drive. Me, my mother, my little brother Angelo, my sister Frederica. By that time, years later, my little brother Sam was born, and my other little brother Victor, was born. So we moved to Sherman Drive, a little house up on the hills in the slums. And I remember that particular house is special to me because that's where I did my first comic book. And I actually completed it, and I was proud of it. And somebody stole that comic book. And I never really went back to even want to make I should have, but I didn't. And so I kind of I started wanting to learn how to paint. I started shifting my attention to more wanting to be a painter. And so I just got into that. I kind of abandoned the comic book. Who knows, if that situation never occurs, who knows what could have happened, But anyway, as time went on, I kind of started abandoning the art and just kind of more going into sports. And I remember everybody used to tell me, see, to think about it, I was living in Indianapolis at that time. You got a lot of boys. We wanted to be Michael Jordan back then. We didn't want to be Leonardo da Vinci. We wanted to be Jordan. So you had a lot of us that was focusing in on harnessing our crafts and sports. So in the mix of that, I had I ain't gonna say it was pressure, but I still had a whole lot of people telling me that, hey man, Melvin, you need to stick with your art. You need to stick with your art.
I drew my daddy in the studio because he likes to make music too. And I drew Tupac. I drew Tupac too. And I drew Ed from Pennywise.
I attended Broad Ripple High School, and I was still doing my artwork, still working on that, and I played basketball for Broad Ripple High School, became a notable star, and I graduated with a partial scholarship to go to Wilberforce University. And tragic struck again. I lost a couple of friends, couple of family members, and most I lost my eyesight. And what happened, I remember that summer of '99 after I graduated, I was excited, about to go to school, first time in my life, about to be independent, and everybody was just believing in me. So I lost. So next thing you know, I noticed, I first started noticing even at my graduation that I started seeing blurriness and I couldn't see too much of nothing. So I'm trying to figure out, man, what is going on? So at that moment, I kind of thought it was a phase that I was kind of going through, being in my age, and so I didn't really pay it no attention. So as that summer went on, I remember as the summer went on and rolled on, I remember me still not paying no attention, because it wasn't really as bad as it was gonna get. And so I was telling my grandma, I was and we both agreed that, yeah, it's gonna be fine, it's all right. And so when I finally got on campus at Riverforce University. I remember second, third day of school when classes started. I remember waking up, trying to go to class, attempting to go to class, and telling a former a student, a fellow student, that I can't see nothing. And he thought, I guess he kind of thought I was joking, but I was serious. I was like, wow, man, I can't see. I really can't. He was like, man, you got to be joking. I said, no, this is serious. I can't see.
I think when my brother is a grown up, he should be like my dad. He should be an artist and a basketball player, because that would really make me very, very happy. Because my brother, he's a good one at drawing. Sometimes I try my best to draw what he can, but I'll never get it right because he can draw good.
In the mix that I had quite a few people, my cousin Demetrius, who gave me moral support, kind of helped me, strengthen me get through it, you know. And then I had my grandma, of course, God rest her soul, Miss Alfreda Knox, AK-47, that's what I call her. But I had her who was there with me, my mom, you know what I'm saying, my siblings, and they helped me get through it. But at the same time, I felt like mentally and emotionally, I was beginning to run out of room in Indianapolis. And what I mean by running out of room in Indianapolis, I felt like, you know, it was time for me I felt like my time in Indianapolis, it was moving too fast for me. I felt like it was time, I felt like God had a different place for me. And so what happened, my cousin Demetrius moved away from Indianapolis to Kentucky. He moved to Louisville first. Then from Louisville, he came to Lebanon. He lived here for like a half a year before I ended up seeing him again in Indianapolis. And one day, you know, I'm still in school, but I'm towards the end of like quitting when I was going to Ivy Tech Community College. So there was a lot of things that was going on within my household. You know, like I wasn't getting along at that time. You know, I was bitter, angry. So I was not really getting along with certain family members, and it wasn't so much it was their fault. It was just that me, you know what I'm saying, trying to come to grip of my tragedy, losing my eyesight, right? And then another tragedy struck. In 2001, you know, I lost a close friend, like a cousin, named Monty, Larry Carruthers. And that kind of took a toll on me. And in the mix of that, I lost another friend, Just Cat. So, you know, it was like, you know, like, as far as with the art and everything, which is like, it was hard for me to get my creative mojo going, because every time you look around, somebody's telling me somebody else's past. So, that's when I start thinking in my heart and mind, God, is this for me anymore? Is Indianapolis for me anymore? You know, I don't want to be next. You know, I want to live long enough to be able to, you know, to whatever gift you got for me. Because, Lord, going back years before, I didn't get hit by a car for nothing to just still be here. You know, and like going back to that, I remember, I can remember the pastor telling me that when I told her the story, Miss Reverend Black, I remember her telling me that God got you here for a great reason, for a powerful reason. So I'm thinking, I can't lose my life here in Indianapolis, God. There's too many of my close friends and family members that are dying. So it was like a struggle trying to figure out whether I want to come to move away from Indianapolis, because Lebanon wasn't even in my mind at that time. But I knew I wanted to leave that city. But I thought more than likely I was going to be in Miami. And so I say sometime in 2000 and I say 2002, January of 2002 is when I first came to Lebanon. But I didn't come and live. I came and I visited first. And I actually liked what I seen and how I felt. The vibe felt too good for me not to want to come back. So I said, so I didn't know exactly if I was coming back, but I said if I do move out of Indianapolis, it's gonna be to Lebanon. What's up, everybody? Facebook, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to be a problem. I don't mean to bring any drama. You know, all I've thought I've been doing was sharing my talent and sharing my wisdom and bringing blessings to Lebanon, trying to pretty much take, you know what I'm saying, beautify this place, this city, you know, and I didn't know that I was causing any issues. So first of all, before I even get started or what I'm gonna say, I'd like to apologize to the city officials, the city of Lebanon. I mean, if this right here, if it hurted the city that bad to where this is the second letter that you guys had to send me, which I spoke to one of you guys in the office. I'm not gonna put any names out there. But anyway, I spoke to somebody, you know, and I own this house. And I always thought in America we had the rights and the freedom to exercise how we feel. And this is just how I feel. It was told to me that this was graffiti. This Martin Luther King, Malcolm X is not graffiti. The generational Michael Jackson is not graffiti. Nipsey Hussle, a man that translated his life from being a gangster, showed us all how to translate. It's not a gangster. And come on, man. It's not graffiti. I said gang, excuse me, not graffiti. And come on, man. To insult Muhammad Ali, who's arguably the greatest Kentuckian to come out of Kentucky. Come on, man. I'm confused. I'm scratching my head, but I'm not on here saying this out of anger or being upset about anything. I'm really not upset. I'm just more confused and I'm disappointed because you guys, I feel like you guys, you know who I'm talking to. You guys, no, I'm gonna say it. You guys, the city of Lebanon, you guys y'all don't give us nothing. As soon as y'all see us doing something y'all think is wrong, you wipe it out, you erase it out, and you leave us with nothing. If you're gonna take this away from me, give me a platform. That's all I ask for. Just give me a platform. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta give me nothing else but a platform. You know what I mean? Like, of course, this is something that I love doing, painting, and love pretty much beautifying an ugly world. You know what I mean? So I feel like if that's bothering anybody or anything, you know, like if anybody had a problem, obviously somebody complained to the city for them to have even took their time to even done this. But who even do that? Come on, man, be for real. Like we got to be realistic. Like, and then you other people telling me, Mello, you gotta be cool, man. You gotta calm down, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. But are y'all telling them to calm down when they painting liquor bottles and bottles like male private parts down by Kroger's? Come on, man, be for real. Be for real. I'm not saying that but yeah, yes, I'm not upset and I'm not saying this. And if, like I said, if I meant anything, if I hurt anybody's feelings, personally, if Melvin James, Leonardo James hurt somebody's feelings, I apologize. From the bottom of my heart, if these beautiful faces hurt anybody, we're gonna apologize. I'm gonna apologize on behalf of Nipsey Hussle, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jackson, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X. If these faces hurt anybody, I truthfully apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I didn't mean to, I guess, intimidate. I don't know, but I went that day and what this painting was for. This was for kids, from white to black to Chinese kids to Mexican kids, to be able to look up on the curriculum board. This is our curriculum board, you know, to be able to be like, who is that guy or who is that guy? So I didn't even get a chance to put enough faces up there because obviously the few faces I started with, we know them, but don't worry about it, guys. City of Lebanon, the painting will be coming down.
I think I'm gonna grow up to be an artist, to be honest. I think I should do that and keep it low, just like Melvin. To
me, it's a long time coming because it's something I've just been attempting over and over and over, and I feel like this is the year 2019 where I want to make this a reality, you know. I want to make this dream, this vision that I got, I want to make it physical. I want to finally share this story that I've been holding and harnessing in my heart and my brain. I want to finally share this story with the world. And as the world is like going on this journey ride, this fairy tale story, this heroic fairy tale story, I want to also teach people, enlighten people, better people, educate people, you know, in any way I can, you know. And that's why I feel like, like everything I try to do, I try to add some positive to. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect person. No, I am not perfect, but I strive to be. And I try to keep as much positive and goodness around my kids and around my friends as I possibly can. So that's why I say everything that I try to do, even with my music, I try to be positive about it. I try to help people, you know, like just be a team. So that's why it's gonna be a whole lot of that in this. And Fargo, I'm out to sight. So out to sight, so far gone. Damn it, out to sight, so